Woohoo! What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Punk Right. My name is Smee. It's been a while since I made a video, so I'm trying to get back into the groove of things, but I have been pleasantly distracted because I've been working full on finishing up my second novel through the most important part of the process, which is, for me anyways, getting it out there, letting people read it. These are your beta readers. Now, beta readers are always kind of a mixed bunch, and for me, as a writer, it's a little bit nervous because I'm actually sending it off to people for the first time to really take a keen look at the document and the manuscript to see how it's working or not working. So I always have some apprehension, but to get to that point actually has its own few hurdles. Stick around today, and I'm going to take a look at why, in my experience, it has always been better to pay for your beta readers than just trying to find them on your own. I'll give you my reasons why, my top, I don't know, at least 4 or 5 reasons. Stick around, don't go anywhere. To start us off, I'd like to get into a little bit of backstory about my first real process with the beta reading process. And I did my searches. There are all kinds of databases out there. There are also Facebook groups that will allow you to have some contact with people to try to either do some swaps, or some people will actually just read it for free. So they say. And I mean this with, genuine sincerity, because to sit down and read 103,000 words, or at that time when I first sent out my novel, it was about 115,000 words, well overwritten, had a lot of garbage in it, and it's an arduous task to think about somebody voluntarily doing this. It is not misunderstood that people would have a hard time, trying to find beta readers. I had a hell of a time. And for good reason. You're asking for a monumental task. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some great friends who have helped me out, and those friends I am fully indebted to. But let's be clear, they are your friends. And unless they have lots of extra time on their hands, or for whatever reason they just love you so much, they're going to sit and read your book, and those people you have to embrace and hold on to, because those are your true friends. But there are some limitations with that as well. You are not necessarily going to get your beta read back in the time frame that you want. You may get some sort of superficiality of the beta read if it's not in the genre of the person reading it. And of course, they're your friends, so they may not be as honest as you actually need them to be to give you serious critiques and feedbacks about how to improve either your story arcs or your character arcs in your book. This is a great limitation of finding beta readers that are too close to you. So what do? That's the big question. So my message today goes out specifically to writers. If you are a writer interested in just improving your craft, or you actually want to publish for money and try to create the best work possible, I highly suggest that you pay for your beta readers. Do not waste your time trying to find the perfect fit of a beta reader, or trying to do swaps with beta reads that you're not going to do. Who has time to sit down and read massive manuscripts for other people? You want to be writing your own stuff and reading your own stuff and improving that. I'm not saying you shouldn't beta read. You should, because it helps you with your own craft. But be practical about the amount of time that you have in your life. If you are going to sit down and read 100,000 words for somebody else, you're talking about a good chunk of weeks of your life. And if you're going to do a good job, which is highly unlikely, then it's going to take even more time. This is why I recommend that you suck it up, pay the bucks. First, as a writer, you need to understand what stage are you in for your beta read. What stage is your manuscript in terms of its advancement towards the finality of its story. If you have created what you consider to be a final draft, then your beta read, or the demands on your beta reader, is going to be quite different than if you're just in process. Now, I say that, of course, with reservation, because I have sent off my manuscripts that are done, and they come back actually torn up, and I realize that I'm a mess. Jesus, I'm a mess. It happens to all of us. So understand, when you're looking for a beta reader, what your needs are, and you can even probe those beta readers to specify how they're going to do the work that you expect them to do. For my upcoming book, I have done that specifically, and I targeted 2 beta readers. The first beta reader I was looking specifically for some sort of grammatical feedback, and I got some edits in terms of redundancy of language, and this person did a great job all the way down with track changes to help me understand how my language use and how some of the finer points of the manuscript were not working or had some limitations. The other beta reader I targeted specifically for more holistic aspects of the writing. I wanted her to look at story arcs, I wanted her to look at wholes, how did the characters work, believability, credulity, all of that stuff. And I got a very different type of feedback from this person, which gives me a very unique document of a personal narrative from the beta reader that explains kind of a perspective. This has immense value that you should be looking for in a beta reader. Now I need to go back to the idea of money, because when you are paying beta readers, you are paying for a service. And there's something peculiar in the psyche of the human being that when you introduce money or goods or stuff in terms of payment, things just change. Money changes people. In this case, it's not a bad thing, because the money actually is going to demand service, professionalism, seriousness, and you're going to get some timely response and turnaround to your beta read. You don't have to wait around for months while somebody gets around to it. I am just as guilty. I am so sorry that I'm trying to read one right now. It's taken me so long because I just don't have time. So pay your beta reader. And the last reason that cannot go unspoken is that when you hire a beta reader, and I'm talking very reasonable rates for beta readers. I mean, I paid, I think, $48 for 50,000 words, and then I paid $50 for another 50,000 words, which I think is totally fair. That is, doesn't take a huge amount of expense. In fact, I spent that much on a freaking dinner going out on a Friday night. If you're thinking about making money, you have to spend a little bit of money, and it's not even that much. And if you put it in the long scheme of things, you're going to pay, in this case, $100 for people who are going to give you a neutral perspective on your work before you even send it to an editor. An editor is going to cost you $1,500 to $2,000, maybe even more, to get a professional edit. That edit you want to get the most juice from, but you don't want to send a crappy copy. Tagging on another $150, maybe even $200 to have 3 or 4 good beta reads is going to save you time, heartache, and really going to improve your work in the long run. I cannot stress this enough. I guess the neutrality of perspective is something that is so hard to attain when you have friends reading your work. When you hire a beta reader, you are entering an unknown zone. You have no idea who this person's gonna be, what they're like, what their likes are. Of course, you come to some agreement about the work, but when they read it, they are fully neutral. And if they're good, and if your money is worth what you want to pay, they're gonna be honest with their feedback, and that is gonna help your writing and your story. Thank you for joining us today, and I just want to stress that if you're serious about your writing, suck it up, pay a little bit of money, and you will be amazed at the rewards that you get in terms of improving your own craft and your own personal work and stories. That's it for today on Punk Write. Until next time, you know what to do. Hire a beta reader and keep writing. Punk Write.